Hello again, my loyal viewers and newcomers alike. I am Dark Zaz, and this channel is dedicated to exploring theology through history and philosophy. I am not here to attack or discredit anybody's beliefs, only to broaden the conversation and encourage thoughtful, open-minded dialogue.
Disclaimer: this script draws on mainstream Buddhist scholarship, early textual studies, and historical criticism. Some points reflect majority academic views, while others remain debated. This does not claim the Buddha invented Buddhism dishonestly, or that his teachings are meaningless. Rather, it explores how Siddhartha Gautama's life and message were shaped, expanded, and idealized by centuries of oral transmission. For deeper study, consult scholars such as Richard Gombrich, Gethin, Gregory Schopen, and Pali Canon. We tend to imagine the Buddha as timeless, a serene figure seated beneath a tree, offering universal wisdom untouched by history. But Siddhartha Gautama was not timeless. He lived in a very specific world, Iron Age Northern India, a land saturated with ritual sacrifice, wandering aesthetics, caste anxiety, and obsession with rebirth. And the Buddha we inherited today is not simply the man who lived here, but the product of centuries of retelling, systematizing, and myth-making, just like any other religious founder. According to tradition, Siddhartha Gautama was born a prince, shielded from suffering, surrounded by luxury, destined to rule. Historically, this story is almost certainly symbolic. There is little evidence that he was truly a prince in the later royal sense. More likely he came from a modest aristocratic clan in a tribal republic, not a kingdom. The palace, the silks, the harem, these are literary devices, not biography. They exist to sharpen the contrast, comfort versus suffering, not to record history. The story goes that Siddhartha saw old age, sickness, death, and a holy man, and instantly abandoned his life. But scholars note this mirrors a standard Indian religious trope. Many ascetic traditions use the same narrative structure. The Buddha story fits the genre perfectly, but that doesn't make it false. It makes it constructed. Siddhartha's awakening under the Bodhi tree is described as cosmic. Visions of past lives, the mechanics of karma, the structure of suffering itself. But early texts are not consistent. Some describe a gradual insight, others describe sudden awakening. Some emphasize meditation, others emphasize ethical clarity. What later tradition merges into a single moment was likely a long process of reflection, experimentation, and teaching, condensed into a clean origin story. Here is the central issue. The Buddha wrote nothing. Everything we have was transmitted orally for centuries before being written down. The earliest Buddhist texts, the Pāli Canon, were likely compiled hundreds of years after his death. Monks memorized teachings in structured patterns. But memorization is not preservation, it is interpretation. Teachings were adapted to newer audiences, newer debates, new philosophical rivals. By the time Buddhism was written, it is no longer just the Buddha speaking. It is a community speaking for him. Modern Buddhism is often represented as non-theistic, almost atheistic, but the early texts don't support that clean image. The Buddha did not deny gods. He relativized them. Gods existed, but they are trapped in the samsara like everyone else. They are not creators. They are not saviors. This distinction matters. Later Western interpretations stripped Buddhism of its cosmology, making it more philosophical and less religious. History shows us the opposite. Early Buddhism was deeply supernatural. The Buddha's teachings on karma and rebirth were not unique. These ideas already existed in Indian thought. What he did was reorganize them, shifting emphasis away from ritual sacrifice and towards intention and mental states. But later tradition turned flexible teaching into rigid system. What began as pragmatic guidance became metaphysical law. Popular portrayals suggest the Buddha rejected caste entirely. The reality is more complicated. He allowed people of all castes to join the monastic order. Radical for its time, but he did not launch a social revolution. He did not dismantle caste society outside the monastery. Later generations projected modern egalitarian ideals backward onto him. History rejects that projection. The earliest layers of Buddhist texts are relatively restrained. Later layers are not. Miracles multiply. The Buddha walks on water, emits light from his body, performs supernatural feats to outshine rivals. This is not unique to Buddhism. It is a pattern. The further from the founder, the more extraordinary the founder becomes. Wisdom becomes wonder. One of the Buddha's most famous images is silence, the calm, detached teacher beyond dogma. Yet the texts contain thousands of detailed sermons, classifications, metaphysical debates, and technical doctrines. The Buddha may have been far less systematic than the tradition that grew around him. What we read today is not just teaching. It's centuries of monks organizing, clarifying, and defending a movement. Siddhartha Gautama was not a myth, but neither was he a floating philosopher beyond history. He was a man shaped by his culture, responding to suffering with the tools available to him. The message evolved not because it was corrupted, but because it was used. History doesn't cheapen the Buddha. It reminds us that enlightenment, like religion itself, does not descend fully formed. It grows. Thank you all for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you in the shadows that history has tried so hard to forget.